Good afternoon, everybody. It is noontime. It's actually 12:04 p.m. right now on Saturday, June 4th, 2022. And it's time for the Angelus and the Lord's Prayer. Alexa, cancel. I didn't light the candles. This needs a little bit more firepower. If you'll remember earlier, that one went out and this one burned. So we'll leave that burning for a little bit. All right. Angelus Domini Nunciavit Mariae et concepit Spiritus Sancto, Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ecce ancilla Domini, fiat mihi secundum verbum tuum. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Et verbum caro factum est, et habitavit in nobis. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ora pro nobis sancta Dei genitrix, ut digni officiamur missionibus Christi. Oremus. Gratiam tuum quaesimus Domini, vincibus nostris in funde, ut qui angelo nunciante Christi filii tui incarnationem coniovibus, per passionem eis et crucem, ad resurrectionis gloriam perducamur, per unium Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen. She's still going. Oh, come on now there. Look about even, sort of. All right. Anyway, so now let's do the Lord's Prayer, because we're not here to do the candles really, but that is part of it. It is part of it. You know what I mean? Every incidental, you don't find that in worship because it's kind of, you know what I mean? It sort of can't be, because we can do it here. We can do worship differently here. That's why we do it. For things like that you can't do in church. We talk about stuff you can't really talk about in church. But they're essential to the life of faith. And what's relevant to the life of faith? Well, everything is relevant to the life of faith, because, from the moment we wake up and start our day, whenever that happens to be, whether you wake up at 11 at night or 6 in the morning or whatever, From that moment on, as we go through our life, we're always constantly, as Christians, interpreting things through our faith, you know? So sex is relevant to that, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. You know, I talk about sex quite a bit, especially, I make a point to in this ministry, because it's something that most Christians, you know, avoid getting comfortable with a lot of times. Now, I mean, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I know, you know, there are a lot of lucky people out there that are happily married, or even if they're not happily married, but they're married, and they have a sexual relationship, they're good there. You know what I mean? They can explore that. They don't even have to think about it anymore, really, in terms of like, am I doing the right thing? Is this okay? Or, you know, because they're not on shaky ground. They're in the most Christian, like, solid ground you could possibly have to have sex, you know. And so are a lot of other people, but they don't know it. You know what I mean? Because they don't hear that a lot of times, you know. And the thing is, so that's why I make a point of talking about it. You know what I mean? I got to tell you, sometimes the Lord makes me, when I'm talking about it, I think probably just to kind of give me a sense of too of how some people are going to hear me, you know, source of trepidation, because I know what I'm about to talk about is like, you know, going to make people uncomfortable or whatever. But you know, I go on and do it anyway, because we have to look at those things. So everything, though, you know what I mean? It's just, even sometimes if it doesn't seem like a big deal, like, you know, it is, because people out there go through it. People out there go through it, even if it's just a candle, you know, every little thing. That's why I don't trip. You know, I try to sort of keep my eye on where we're going for a video. But if something happens in there, it's usually, you know, I usually welcome that, you know. Even in hindsight, one time where I was 3 hours late with a 6 p.m. video, I think it was, or maybe it was less than that, but it was over an hour, and it wasn't for a good reason, but it was a reason that, you know what I mean, de facto good. It had to be, because like it just was. I'm not going to get into. I'm specifically going to avoid talking about that right now, because I don't want you to evaluate it. The reason why, which we can't help but do when we hear stuff. You know what I mean? Unless it's something that literally we have to like investigate it, like go look somewhere else before we can evaluate it. If it's something that you can't help but, you know, hear it, like if I say 2 + 2, your mind automatically can't help but say 4. It already knows that, you know. So, and that is not something that, you know, I want you to do for that specifically. So. And I'm sure you have things like that too. And it's not for any kind of shady reason, but it's just because, well, number one, it's not for you to evaluate, right? But there are other things too. Anyway, so, you know, but looking back on it, I'm comfortable with why it happened. I wouldn't want it to happen too much, because I try to, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely don't. But like, I can tell you this: I kept trying to make it for 6 p.m. I kept, you know what I mean? And the earliest the Lord would let me get to it was when we did. And if you've ever been in that situation, and you have, definitely have, you know, you've tried to be on time, you tried your best and not been able to do it for something, and that is also holds for you too. So be aware of that. Some people beat them, you know what I mean? If I just tried harder. Well, know if you're trying hard, you know what I mean? Kind of be conscious of that. Be in the moment. And if you know, after a while, you know you're trying your best, and this is the result you're getting, relax on yourself. Other people may not. Because that's, you know, they don't see all that goes on in your head. But anyway, so, okay. Pater noster, quies incellis, sanctificator nomen tuum, et veniat regnum tuum. Fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis odie, et dimite nobis debita nostra. Sicut et nos dimitimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. Let's do it again, slower. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum. Adveniat regnum tuum. Fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis odie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra. Sicut et nos diminimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malum. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. All right, everybody. I just finished breakfast. I just had my breakfast. Right at the bell did I finish there. So like, you know, or like maybe 9:01, but either way. And then I came right in here. So I'm really, it's nice to have a full stomach right now because I was hungry. And anyway, so remember to brush your teeth, to floss, especially, and most especially, to say your prayers. And I'll see you in the next video. I love you all. Happy last day of Easter.